In this video, I will talk about the ways in which we could apply Daoist philosophy and practices to bring balance into our daily lives, including both the philosophical and metaphysical teachings of Taoism such as Wu Wei, Qi, Yin and Yang, and the Tao. So before we dive in, let's take a closer look at the basics. When we think of Taoism, many associate it with the Yin and Yang symbol. The Yin and Yang energies represent duality. They are two opposing qualities that complement each other and cannot exist without one another, which is also what everything in the universe is consisted of. Qi is the life force energy that animates everything in the universe, including the interaction and dynamics between Yin and Yang. This leads us to the three treasures, Qi, Jing, and Shen, or breath, essence, and spirit. Although there are many different explanations of the three treasures, we can safely assume they are referring to the mind-body relationship and how it connects to the spirit. Sometimes people use the term soul interchangeably. Often, the term mind or soul is used to refer to the part of our being that consists of our personality, thoughts, and emotions, whereas the term soul or spirit is used to refer to the part that is divine and eternal. When Qi forms in the human body, Shen becomes the soul, representing heaven, which is yang in nature. Jing forms the physical essence, representing earth, which is yin in nature, whereas Qi is neutral, connecting heaven and earth, which makes human, containing aspects of both heaven and earth. We can think of it by using the candle analogy, where Jing is the wax or body, Qi is the flame or energy, and Shen is the light, which is spirit, consciousness, and our connection to the way. We can think of the way as the creator, the driving force, or the expanding universe that connects everything together like an orchestra, constantly playing and flowing. And when Qi is not flowing properly, there will be a disruption in the balance and harmony of the Yin and Yang energies, and that will lead us to both physical, mental, and even spiritual health problems. Although Daoist practices are known to aim at pursuing longevity and immortality, they are not always referring to physical immortality. Instead, it is a type of immortality that's not defined by time and physical limits. It is the awareness of the eternal nature that is a part of us. It is the spirit in us that lasts forever. As Taoist Casey Cockmer says, the chase for immortality comes at the direct cost of reducing the experience of life itself. According to Qigong Master Li Fengshan, to nourish health, we first have to nourish our mind and soul. We need to know ourselves on a deeper level before we try to endlessly fix external things, because no matter how many healthy foods you are eating or how much you're exercising, you'll not achieve optimal health if you do not balance that with a healthy mind. It is the universal law that the internal comes before the external, the void comes before matter, and emptiness comes before existence, yet they can't exist without each other. Balance brings us to the Tao. A common example would be when people try to lose weight. Many would focus on their diet and weight, but if we start by eliminating factors that cause us to gain excessive weight in the first place, such as mental health problems that stop us from living a more active lifestyle, or negative emotions that cause us to stress eat, this would be way more effective and long-lasting than the other way around, because this way balance restores automatically and naturally. So let's begin by introducing Daoist wisdoms that can be applied to the nourishment of our mind and soul. In today's society, mental health problems like anxiety and depression are so prevalent it has almost become a norm. People are suffering in so many different ways, and I believe we could all use some wisdom from Laozi and Zhuangzi. Suffering occurs when we are blinded by negative thoughts surrounding the self and the world around us. However, instead of forcing ourselves to think positive, Laozi would recommend a person in despair remove the incorrect thoughts and beliefs, which are the root of suffering. From a Daoist point of view, suffering occurs when we are out of sync with the Tao. The absence of suffering itself leads to inner peace, so instead of adopting new beliefs or before deciding to chug down antidepressants, we should aim to undo and unlearn our negative beliefs and build resilience that increases our tolerance of pain and suffering instead of fighting it. And when we are able to flow with the universe with the least amount of resistance, there will be less suffering. Just like Zhuangzi's view on death being a natural part of life and seeing death as merely a transformation. When we have a radical acceptance of pain and suffering, like clouds in the sky, we can let them come and go with ease. Just like yin and yang, everything that exists consists of opposing qualities. There's no light without dark, no earth without heaven, no pleasure without pain. When we seek pleasure and avoid pain and wanting things to be different than how they are, this need to control is what makes us suffer because we are not flowing with the natural course of the universe. When it comes to relationships, Daoist masters actually recommend against saying, I love you. In Taoism and Buddhism, love is not a thing that can be defined, and it can be manifested in many different ways, not just in romantic relationships. When we say, I love you, we make it into a thing that people will tend to become attached to, and when the love goes away, people get hurt and suffer. There is nothing wrong with feelings of love, it's just that we should not hold on to these feelings, because romantic feelings, like emotions, are fleeting in nature, they can change and no one can force feelings to stay the same forever. On the other hand, a relationship is not defined by how long it lasts, it is when two people share an equal commitment to growing and exploring life together, and we should not be afraid to let go of a relationship that holds us back and takes away our power and literally drains away our chi. A healthy relationship should be uplifting for both parties. If we focus on how long it lasts, the relationship already ended because it means there is a desire to control an outcome. We should see a partner as someone who is willing to dive into the unknown and share the journey with us. In Daoist Yangxing, which directly translates to nourishing life, aka self-cultivation techniques, the use of TCM and practices are all rooted in the concept of qi according to the Yellow Emperor's Classic of Internal Medicine, or Huangdi Neijing. In order to be healthy, we need to cultivate positive or good qi in our bodies. We can improve and optimize our physical health by facilitating the flow of qi in our bodies with traditional Chinese medicine and practices such as acupuncture and cupping, as well as gentle exercises and martial arts like Tai Chi and Qigong. Similar to the circadian rhythm in the West that our bodies have a built-in rhythm, the Chinese body clock uses the 5 elements to represent different organs and the relationship between their functions and interactions with the natural world, and we should care for our health and live accordingly depending on the time of the day and the season of the year by balancing these elements to enable the flow of qi in our bodies. To nourish life in harmony with nature by following the organ body clock, we should eat, sleep, and move according to the time of day. For example, it is strongly advised that we should go to bed by 11 p.m. because 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. is the time when our liver and gallbladder are most active, so being asleep in that time frame would help facilitate the detoxing and recovering functions of these organs, which would, in turn, boost our immune system. We should also eat breakfast around 8 a.m. when our stomach is most active, and 3 to 5 p.m. is the best time for exercising because that's when our lung function is at its peak. In the Yellow Emperor's Classic of Internal Medicine, dreams are also a reflection of our both physical and mental health. There will be an imbalance of yin and yang energies in our bodies if there is bad qi, which could be caused by excessive negative thoughts and emotions. For example, it is said that if there is too much yang energy, you will tend to have dreams related to fire, such as seeing a house on fire, and when there's too much yin energy, you'll tend to experience a sense of fear in your dreams. When it comes to preserving health according to the seasons, it is suggested that we eat different foods in each season. For example, in winter, we should eat foods that are the color black or warm and yang in nature, such as black beans, eggplant, ginger, pumpkin, or bitter foods of the fire element that nourishes the kidney, which helps us conserve yang qi in the cold months. It is also recommended that we should adjust our sleep schedule around the seasons by aligning with the energy of the sun and wake up at a time close to when the sun rises, meaning that we should sleep less and wake up earlier in spring and summer but no earlier than 5 a.m., and sleep longer and wake up later in the fall and winter months, but no later than 7 a.m. When it comes to exercising, we should not do exercises that are too intensive in the winter because it could harm our qi, and we should do something more gentle like Tai Chi, yoga, or brisk walking, and leave cardio and running marathons in the spring and summer. Tai Chi is sometimes referred to as meditation in motion. It draws upon principles of Taoism such as softness, balance, and non-action, and responding to the world with a moment-to-moment presence, syncing the body and mind and thus allowing qi to flow in our bodies. In a more modern context, Daoist principles of nourishment and wellness can also be observed in intuitive eating. Intuitive eating is an anti-dieting movement that eliminates all sorts of diet restrictions like limiting the intake of certain foods and calories, such as intermittent fasting, vegan, keto, gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free, fat-free, non-GMO, so on and so forth. Intuitive eating encourages us to listen to our bodies when we eat. We should trust the wisdom of our bodies and eat when we are hungry and stop when we are full. One thing to be mindful of is that this is not the same as giving in to our cravings, because cravings are usually aimed to fulfill psychological needs or escape difficult emotions but not physical hunger. Wu Wei is definitely one of the core concepts that define Taoism. It is also the main theme in the Daoist and the Zhuangzi. Wu Wei literally means non-action or non-doing. However, it does not mean that we should do nothing, sit on our couch watching YouTube all day and let life pass us by. Wu Wei means effortless effort. It means that we are taking inspired rather than forceful action. This way, we do things because we feel compelled by something that lies within us beyond our logical mind. It is a matter of the heart. We do things because it feels right and natural, not because we want to achieve a certain outcome. Wu Wei does not require excessive force and the action taken is not attached to an outcome. Effortless action is manifested when one is aligned with the flow of the universe. We can think of a gear in an engine, doing what it's supposed to do, by moving along with everything connected to each other to keep things running. Examples of Wu Wei can be found in our daily lives, such as when we are dancing like nobody's watching, spontaneously singing in the shower, journaling mindfully as we are writing down whatever is on our minds, or when we create art intuitively, etc. For example, in art therapy, participants are drawing or painting their emotions on paper without planning anything beforehand, and this requires them to be actively aware of their current inner state. The flow state in positive psychology is also an example of Wu Wei, where one is completely immersed in the activity at hand, has effortless focus, and forgets the passage of time. This state can be experienced when a person is engaged in their hobbies or even at work. An example would be a skilled taxi driver slowly becoming one with the vehicle, and driving becomes effortless, that they can drive skillfully without having to analyze everything, unlike an anxious new driver who has to consciously think about the steering wheel, where they have to put their feet, trying to recall the driving rules and signs, etc. Meditation is also a practice that can bring us closer to the way or the Tao. By staying present, non-judgmental, and having absolute awareness of the present moment, we become still, and we begin to dissociate from the noises in our heads as the bystander, as we detach from our egos. The quieter our mind is, the clearer we can see reality, and the better we are able to hear the rhythm of the universe with our heart. We do not have to live in a cave or study under a Daoist master to become one with the Tao. Anyone can connect to it from within anywhere, anytime. In Daoist meditation practices, the focus on meditation is more on breathing and presence than posture. Breathing helps cultivate the qi and facilitate the balance of jing and sheng within our bodies, strengthening our connection to the Tao or spirit. This way we are allowing spirit to flow through us freely, reaching the state of non-action. And instead of living life or wanting to live our lives in certain ways, we are letting life live through us by surrendering and becoming one with the Tao, which is constantly expanding, moving forward, and forever evolving through the interactions and exchange of yin and yang, heaven and earth. The body-mind-spirit relationship is interconnected and sophisticated. The mind cannot thrive when the body is weak and vice versa. One cannot exist without another. Balance is the key to wellness and longevity. Therefore, we should be mindful of overdoing it and being too rigid with the teachings that may be better used as guidelines. Because we don't want too much or too little in the extremes, moderation is essential. As Taoism fundamentally encourages spontaneity and flexibility, we should always listen to our body, mind, and soul closely, follow our intuition, focus on doing the next right thing, and let life unfold organically as we venture into the unknown. Thank you for watching. Once upon a time, an egg was born. His name is Gautama. He is not just any egg. He does not hurry, he does not force, he chills, he rests, he relaxes, and he happily welcomes his fate of being eaten eventually. The end is just another beginning. He is reborn once again.